Hi, friends. So I kind of want to share a dream that I had this morning, November 6th, 2022. All right. So this dream, I was in a house, and this house was a piece of junk. Like literally, it was cold. I was in the basement. I was living with people, and in the basement, I was able to feel a cold breeze coming in, like if the door was wide open. And it was just cold, and I'm like, how can you guys live with this? Nobody cared. So I'm like, I'm gonna go find that word's coming in from. So I go upstairs, and it's like a hoarder house, junk everywhere. It was dark. Who knows what all was in there? I go and I look for the entrance, and I had to go through like four different foyers to get to the exterior door. When I finally get to the exterior door, I see that there's no lock. There's no knob. The bottom of the door is like broken, and like you could see daylight through there. So I'm trying to pull this door off because I want to fix it. And then the landlord's there. And then the landlord, he has a crew with him, and he's like bringing in these people, and they're like an appraiser, which who values the house. There's an inspector, kind of like he spoke Spanish. um, the appraiser, he was tall, redhead, and so he's like, is there a basement? I'm like, yeah, it's over here. So they start taking these numbers down, and they start kind of just assessing the house. Because to me personally, I'd be like, well, this is probably a tear down. I don't know, but the landlord was going to figure it out. So the guy goes downstairs. Well, I just tell people like the basement's right here. I'm like, hey, we have company. And he goes downstairs. And then my brother appears. And my brother, like, we don't get along because of like beliefs, like religion and stuff. We haven't spoken in years. Anyways, well, he's in my dream. And in my dream, I wanted to know how he was feeling. And the reason I wanted to know how he was feeling was because he had already taken the mark, the jab. And I was like, how are you feeling? And then he was very like sad. And he was just very distraught. He just kept saying, I'm sad. There's nothing I can do about it. There's no hope. It's hopeless. I'm sad. He just kept repeating that. And I was like, wow. And then so I got up and I left. And then he kept following me to the next room. And then I'm like, so how are you feeling? And he kept repeating. He repeated the same thing. I'm sad. I'm distraught. I'm hopeless. There's nothing I can do about it. And then he mentioned even something about it's because I had a silver spoon in my mouth. I guess insinuating that money was his problem, I guess. And then that was the end of my dream. I woke up. So I was thinking about it all day, and I was kind of thinking of a few things that could have represented, like the landlord could have represented like the Lord coming in and then doing an evaluation of your house, inspecting it to see how it was maintained, if it's built properly. Have you taken care of your 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 property? And I was thinking about that scripture in, I believe it's in Luke, also in Matthew, where it talks about the house that was built upon a good foundation. So this now here is just me speaking now. So the dream is over, but I'm just was thinking about how I could apply the scriptures to the dream, and that was one of the scriptures. It's Luke chapter 6, I believe. Was it Luke 6 or something like that? Yeah, verse 48 and 49 speaks about the house that was built upon with no foundation. And the first storm that came in, it fell down. The other scripture was regarding Romans 12, verse 1 and 2, where it says something about having your body be presentable, acceptable, holy to God. And I'll read that here quick, but that regarding my brother and his decision to take the mark. Well, that's what I call it. But yeah, Romans chapter 12, it says, present your bodies as a living sacrifice. A living sacrifice. So remember, God, when he wanted sacrifices, he wanted that animal to be clean. He didn't want he didn't want it to be hurt or, he wanted a really the best animal when he asked for a sacrifice. It had to be acceptable, holy unto God, which is your reasonable service. And number 2 says, And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. So that scripture there had to do pretty much with presenting your bodies. And even at that, when you present your body, like you're keeping it clean, right? But even your house, in this sense, you present your property in a presentable, acceptable manner towards the Lord. So when the Lord, I guess, figuratively speaking, was coming to inspect the property of this dwelling, it was not acceptable. So spiritually speaking, you can kind of think about how is your house built right now spiritually, thinking like, okay, if the Lord was to come right now, how would he view you with your kids, the cleanliness, what you're viewing, what you're permitting, what you're practicing, what's your main attention? Is it sports? Is it politics? Is it work? Fun? Whatever it is, that's basically kind of like showing what's your worth, because the appraiser was there, so he's kind of like putting a number on it. So if God had to put a number on your house, your spiritual house, what would he rate it? Is it something that needs to be torn down? Is it repairable? Is it built brand new on a good foundation? So the inspection time is basically, I guess it's now. God's looking, and you got to keep yourself presentable in all aspects of your life, not only physically. Be careful what you put into your body, but also your household. So that was just kind of a lot of little things I was able to extract from this dream. But it was pretty interesting that I did. I was thinking about my brother. Like I said, I love my brother, but we don't speak because of our beliefs, believe it or not. You would think that people who love God would love each other. And in this situation, it's sad that these religions nowadays promote division. They promote, hey, if somebody doesn't think like how you think, they're not worthy of your attention or your love, for that matter. So that's kind of like where we're at. But like I said, I love my brother to pieces. I wish the best for everybody, honestly, but we're all going to have to be accountable to the Lord by what we put into our body and how we build our house and the foundation of it. So hopefully these little things can help you kind of like maybe do a little self-examination, a check to see where you're standing. And maybe if there's room for improvement, maybe, you can improve. Everyone has room for improvement, but ultimately we're going to have to prove it to God, and that's it. And he's the only one that matters. Anyways, thanks for listening, guys. Until next time.